Thanks for agreeing to set up this interview. As you know, we only have a short amount of time, so let's go ahead and get started right away.
Sounds good.
Now, I know that you've been involved in some work on community issues. Can you tell me what attracted you to the community issue that you chose at the beginning of the semester?
Right. Well, thank you, first of all, for taking the time to meet with me. And my community issue was dealing with stress and pain. And what drew me to that issue was not only the fact that I deal with a lot of stress on a regular basis, as I'm sure everybody does, but the biggest thing was in regards to my mom, who's been dealing with a lot of pain in her back over the last year because she had scoliosis when she was a kid, as well as a lot of pain in her foot. And this has been really stressful for her and just been really tough on all of us as her mood has lessened. And I think that's why I chose this issue, is because I wanted to learn more about what can be done to help deal with stress and pain.
Okay, thank you. Now, your materials also said that you were involved in a community issue team project that focused on a call to action.
Right.
Can you share with me what call to action your team put forward and why you chose that call to action?
Right. Our community issue was students struggling with student debt, and our call to action was to urge our audience to talk to their representatives and senators and just make their voice heard on this issue, because we felt that it was part of the American dream to be able to afford an education and to pursue a career. So I think that's why we chose that for our issue.
I see. Now, if I were to ask the other members of your team what they think your biggest strength is, what do you think they would say, and why do you think they would say it?
Sure. I think that my team members would say that my biggest strength would be my willingness to work with them as far as scheduling and finding a team to meet with them, as well as what part of the speech I worked on. For instance, they chose first on what part of the speech they were most comfortable with, and then I worked with what was left, and I think I did a good job of rounding it out so that our final product was a good cohesive speech. So
Okay, great. What for you was the most challenging thing about working with your team?
sure, I think the most challenging part was the fact that we worked on our own sections of the speech separately, so it was tough to um, make it work so that our final product again was a cohesive uh, speech. Um, yep.
Thank you. Okay, last question. In 30 seconds or so, tell me what your biggest takeaway was from Com 110 this semester. What will stick with you and be useful to you?
Sure. Yeah, the most memorable part of the class will for sure be my own speeches and just the time and preparation it took to feel comfortable with presenting that to the class. And I think that will be the biggest takeaway for me, is just on the things that I learned on how to get my message across that I want to the audience that I'm targeting. And I think I can use that in my career and just in my life. So
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me.
thank
We'll
you for.
probably be in touch with you in the next few weeks or so.
Sounds good.
Take care.
You too.